What's up, everyone? Welcome to Ash Talks Movies, and welcome to another episode of The Recap, the show we do here where we talk about all the big entertainment news that everyone is discussing. Back here with my co-host Jed. Say hi to everyone, Jed.
Hello, everybody. We are having a
So,
fantastic time on this
oh
podcast.
gosh,
The
we
puns,
couldn't go without puns. Couldn't go without puns. So happy to be back. Initially, we had planned to have an episode was last week before last, and
2
then
weeks ago,
technical
yeah.
issues, and then it was a mess. There's like
For those that
storms,
don't
knocking out
know,
internet, power.
I was gonna say we have storms every day in Central Florida, and a lot of times they will cut your power out, and they just so happen to do that in the middle of our recording. So, but we're back.
So that was.
And hopefully that won't happen.
So we're back. Yes.
Yeah.
And we have plenty to talk about. So let's just dive right into it. The first topic is basically an update to something we've talked about before. It's an update on Coyote versus Acme. So for those of you who don't know, this was the live action animated hybrid movie that was initially going to be released by Warner Brothers, and they decided to shelve it to do like a tax write-off, and then it was saved by Ketchup Entertainment, who said it was going to release it in theaters. We now know when it's going to be released in theaters. It's going to come out August 28th, 2026. So next year. So mark that in your calendars. What I found interesting about this was they're releasing it in the summer. I mean, it's the end of the summer.
It's the tail
They're
end,
still giving it a summer release.
Usually Labor Day weekend or going into that time is a pretty slow time for movies. But yes, I mean that's something that's more than the one that came out this year that nobody knew about. Was like February, I think, or something.
Oh, right,
like that.
yes.
This is an upgrade. What I'm interested to know is like, what's the break even on this now? Like, so they paid $50 million to Warner Brothers to get the rights. So if it makes back the $50 million, is it a success? I mean, I feel like they're going to have to market the hell out of it.
Yeah, well, so that's the thing. What will be the additional costs for marketing for this? And I mean, I think they're going to have to make well over 50 million to
for sure,
factor in a profit. But just how much, I don't know. And
now,
what they would consider successful, who knows? I mean, maybe they just think, at least if we get it out in theaters and recoup some money, and get some attention, some eyeballs on it, then we could then use that for brokering a better deal on maybe a streaming platform.
Right.
You know?
Did you watch the trailer? It's somebody recording the screen that the trailer was on.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I wasn't really keeping up with because this was announced at Comic-Con, so I'm assuming you're talking about like the stuff from Comic-Con. Yeah. I wasn't really keeping up a lot with Comic-Con, mostly just because I wasn't expecting any like big announcements.
Right, same here.
I had a bunch of other stuff I was doing. So no, I haven't seen it. And I'm okay with that. I'd rather wait for like a official trailer.
The thing that they're doing that I think is super smart is they're labeling it as the film that they didn't want you to see. So it has that. Oh yes, like,
I did see that.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's really smart because it brings up why was this shelved or whatever, and we all know that it's money reasons. But if you don't know that, then you might be like, well, what's in this Looney Tunes cartoon that I want to go find out. What makes this different.
It's a nice like little marketing strategy. Yeah, exactly.
But
so
I mean,
I plan on seeing
funny.
it. I mean,
yeah,
because I again, initially I wanted to see it when it was first announced, and then when they shelved it, I thought, well, everything I've heard about this movie so far, everyone, either they were involved with it or had seen like an early cut of it, had said it was really funny and it was really good, and it was a nice like kind of return for these like Looney Tune characters, and I've always loved Looney Tunes. So then it was kind of like, well, why are we not going to get to see this? Plus that followed all the stuff that happened with like Batgirl and some other movies where you're like, okay, we're just getting in the business of making movies and then no one gets to see them. That's
exactly
crazy business strategy. So the fact that it's coming out, I am definitely going to be supporting it. I hope it's good, but I am gonna watch it because I was one of those that was hoping calling for them to release it, and it is coming out. So,
do you think it's
now we
weird
have to
that
wait.
we have to wait in like over a year to see it, even though it's already done? Do you think that they're gonna like redo some stuff in it, or why wait that much longer?
No, I don't, just because this is a theatrical release. If this was a streaming release, I would question why they're
Mm-hmm.
waiting a year to release it.
That's
But the
fair.
fact that they are doing a theatrical release, that means they probably had to look at the calendar and see when's the best time to release it. And they definitely probably didn't want to release it in the fall, because even though it does have some built up momentum in terms of people knowing, enough people knowing what this movie is and sort of like the background of it, they still have to market it, right? We were just talking about what they're going to do for marketing budget. That's a really quick turnaround. So you don't want to release it in the fall because it's a quick turnaround. Plus, that's getting close to award season. Um, and again, they're going to release it in the summer. So I think they wanted to give it enough time to breathe between whatever other big movies are coming out on the calendar,
Mm-hmm.
and then also launch their marketing campaign. So I think it's smart. Don't rush it. People are interested in it. I mean, if it was longer than a year, I might question whether or not interest would wane. But I mean, as long as they do a good marketing campaign for it, I think it'll be okay. So, but we'll have to wait and see. So, moving on to our next topic, we're going to talk about Emmy nominations. Now, these took place a couple weeks ago, actually, when we were going to be doing our last episode. But anyway, then the Emmy nominations have come out. We have some shows on here that are pretty much to be expected in terms of Emmy nominations. So, really quickly, before we share what our snubs and surprises were, uh, the top 5 shows to receive nominations. Severance was number one with 27 nominations. The Penguin was second with 24. The Studio, which is Apple Plus TV series, third with 23. The White Lotus for season 3, 23. Okay, so we got 23.
23 for
And then the
White
last,
Lotus alone.
yes,
Wow.
that matches with the Studio. Interesting. Um, and then The Last of Us, season 2, and it got 16. So I'm not surprised by any of those nominations, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. Most of those shows I've seen or heard about, um, and they've been dominating the conversation, or even some of them have been doing well for Emmys anyway. Um, I did see some people that were surprised that The White Lotus got as many nominations because they didn't think that this past season was that good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I tend to agree with that. I've seen all seasons of The White Lotus, and this past season took me longer to finish than the
Hmm.
previous seasons.
That's interesting because um I don't know. I felt more engaged with season 2 and season 3 than I did season 1 of that show. But I
Interesting.
agree that I don't think that like this season. I think the performances were really, really good, and of course there were some storylines
Hmm.
that got a lot of attention on social media and that kind of thing. Uh,
Yes, I probably know which ones you're referring to.
right, and so like I'm not shocked though. I mean, it's an Emmy darling of a show, or an awards darling, I guess. Like,
Hmm.
it's always up for that kind of thing. I'm actually kind of more intrigued by the miniseries category because originally I was like, oh, this
Mm.
is gonna be time for like the Menendez brothers are gonna shine in this, and then I feel like there's been so many other ones that qualified in there that I
Hmm.
think that's gonna be the harder one to predict.
Hmm.
Is where the voters are gonna go because there have been several good series like that this year. So
Yeah, that's always tough. Like I'm usually better about predicting like the Oscars just because I pay more
mhm.
attention to movies than I do TV. Although I do watch quite a bit of television. But it's really hard to know. Like you said, it's hard to know like where the Television Academy voters are going to go. And also, I kind of piggybacking on what you said earlier about like the White Lotus is like an Emmy's darling. I do wonder sometimes if like the voters just kind of get used to certain shows and they just kind of keep voting for them, because I felt something similar like with Succession. Like I liked that series and I watched the whole thing, but I was late getting into that series, and when I did, everybody was like, "This, you got to watch the show. It's amazing." I'm like, "All right, okay." And then I did. I was like, I mean, it's entertaining. I'm probably gonna get some hate for this, but I was like, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was like, amazing, and it kept like dominating, winning all these awards. I'm like, okay, I mean, I get it, but
I mean, I think when you got
you
have
know,
this anthology series kind of or not anthology, but like you have all these different characters that are interacting, and they're only going to be there probably for a season. So you have, like this time around, Jason Isaacs and Walton Goggins and like
right.
these big heavy players that are in there. So it's not surprising to me. Of course, they're gonna, they're gonna do a good job. Give them like a couple of dramatic scenes in an episode, and that's good enough to get it qualified, for a nomination.
Well, that's interesting because you were talking about that, and it's like I looked at the acting categories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like especially like supporting, and they have like so many of them are from like the White Lotus.
Yeah.
Where they're they're basically just competing with each other.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Like it didn't leave room for anybody else really, which seems unfair sometimes when there's like other performances maybe in other shows that could have been recognized. But yeah, so I get that if it's an anthology, because it is different storyline, it is different characters, so it's not necessarily the same as the previous season. I was surprised. Oh
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I was surprised that The Pit got nominated, not because it's not a good show, it's an excellent show, but sometimes it's hard for new series to get that recognition, right? It usually takes like a season or like 2 seasons for the Academy to go, oh wait, what's the show over here? And the fact that The Pit is like a brand new show and it got pretty decent, I think it was in the top 10 for a number of nominations, was very surprising to me. I was like, okay, The Pit, nice. Because I really do like that show.
Yeah, I think that'll be definitely a good booster for it going forward.
Oh yes, I can already see the campaign where they Emmy nominated, on there when they
But I was talking earlier about the limited or anthology series, so it's in that category. It's Adolescence, Black Mirror.
Oh, okay.
Dying for Sex, which is a great show. Adolescence is a great show as well. The Menendez brothers, and then the Penguin. All of those, I'm a little surprised on Black Mirror. I mean, they had some good episodes this year and that kind of thing, but any of those, I could see walking away with this. The acting in all of those is phenomenal, and awesome to see like a comic book. Anything getting nominated this way, and oh
yeah,
obviously for acting, everybody in that show did a wonderful job, but the story too was great. So but I think that's gonna be the hard one. I couldn't tell you which one of these is gonna win because they're all very well done. I'll be most shocked if Black Mirror wins, but the rest of them I think are super strong contenders. But
I'm a huge Black Mirror fan, and I haven't even watched this new season. Mostly just because I haven't had time. I've had to like reprioritize things.
It's one of those that I forget about too. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, that's still there. Right?
Yeah.
So.
Another thing that like surprised me was some of the snubs. So like Squid Game.
Yeah.
Was shut out. And again, that's a show that literally, I mean, huge topic of conversation.
Right.
People always rave about how awesome that show is, amazing that show is, but I guess it just didn't really resonate with voters.
But I guess that's for season 2, right? That is not, because season 3 I don't think would have been in the window, because it didn't come out until June, I think. So.
Okay, I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
But so maybe that's it. Maybe it's just the eligibility. Handmaid's Tale also didn't get. I don't think it got any nominations,
That show
and
just
this
needed to
was
go
would have
away,
been.
though. I mean, like, I saw a bunch of things like Elizabeth Moss didn't get nominated. Well, Elizabeth Moss
Yes, she
is,
didn't.
but she's doing the same. I mean, it's not that she's a bad actress, but I don't
Hmm.
know just because her show's ending that she deserves a nomination for it.
Yeah, I
You know,
mean,
my
hey, that they've done it for other people.
yes, that's true. But I mean, like my
That's
wife,
why it's always so controversial with these award seasons,
yeah,
like these award shows and things. Is just because so often it's like, okay, you have a show that does really well and it doesn't get nominated like ever, and then it's like it's last season, and then suddenly they go, okay, we'll give it some
yeah, yeah.
nominations, and you're
Here's your
like, you could have
pity
recognized.
awards. Yeah.
Yes, and it's like, what do you do? Yeah, so I don't know. And then of course you get to a show like this that's been on for a while. It is the last season. People are like, why did you nominate her? She
Um,
deserved it. It's like,
One thing I was surprised at, I was surprised for the love for Paradise. I don't know if you've watched that show. It is good,
I
but
have, and it's good.
I, I,
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have put it as one of the best of the year, but that's, I mean, you could certainly argue it, and I would certainly be like, okay, yeah, you're probably right. But, I mean, because it was well done, it's
Yeah.
well acted, good story that kept me like, moving along the episodes and stuff. But, my
Hmm.
wife loved it.
I
I
mean,
was just kind of like,
yeah,
yeah, it's
I was
good.
fine with that.
Yeah,
Well, because again, this kind of goes back to what I was talking about before. I don't mind that because again, this was a brand new series,
yeah.
and it's hard for new series to get the attention of Academy voters. And the fact that it did, I think speaks volumes to it. Again, I really enjoyed it, and I know a lot of other people did too. And I'd much rather take Paradise over like a show that's been on way too long. Like, I mean, Handmaid's Tale didn't get nominated, but if it had and it like pushed out like an opportunity for like Paradise or some other show,
Right.
then I'd rather have Paradise. It's also interesting that other shows like, I mean, I don't think Yellow Jackets was it been nominated before? I know it
I
wasn't
think
nominated
it
this
was. I
time
think
around.
maybe season one was, but maybe that was Golden Globes.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
maybe.
Yeah, it's hard.
Um, and then I'm just going to mention this just because it always annoys me, and I want everybody to be annoyed with me too. The Bear just dominating comedy
Everyone's favorite
categories
comedy, The
is
Bear.
like, I don't. I think this is going to be one of those instances where people are going to look back on this years from now and go, "Why was this allowed? Like, why?" Like they submit, what cat, but it's like, why? Because the Bear should clearly be in the drama category. Now, if it was, it probably wouldn't be dominating, because it would have to compete with like Severance and stuff.
Sure.
But like, it should not be in the comedy category because it's the fact that the Bear, which is not a comedy, is dominating the comedy categories means it's shutting out other actual comedies, and
In a
it's
time when
frustrating. I
comedies
mean,
aren't as prevalent as they have been in the
yes, and so
past.
you
Yeah.
have like a handful of comedies that come out, and oh, Dad, this one new comedy we could have put here. Oh, sorry, we're putting the Bear. It's like we're gonna nominate the Bear. It's a great show, but it's not a comedy. And that goes for like the acting categories too, where you'll
Yeah.
have like, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis getting a supporting nomination in an act in a comedic role, and it's like have you seen her
Yeah.
performance in that
There's
show? She's
nothing
like
funny about her
having a
performance.
mental breakdown
Yes,
and
exactly.
crying. Like, that's not hilarious. I don't understand. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I
I would
don't.
have thought they would have like fixed the rules or something with this. It just it annoys me to no end, and it's like every time they have Emmys
Or
nominations, it's just
something
like,
that's
oh, and
clearly
then the
not a
Bear.
limited series that ends up in the limited series category, even though it's like you've already
Yes,
announced a season two or whatever. So I'm like, you're a series. You
yeah, because
made
there
it.
was something. What was it? Was it like Bridget Jones movie or whatever? Like, it got released in
Yeah.
theaters, but that ended up being nominated in like the best TV movie category or something like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Because over here
I don't know how.
it was on streaming, but in the UK it was in the
Okay,
theaters. So, um,
okay, okay,
whatever.
whatever. So yeah, I'm always just baffled by Emmy nominations, Oscar nominations. You always have to find something to like pick apart.
There's always that
But
one
anyway, so
thing that you're like, what? Come on now. We all know this isn't
yes, or
correct.
or a couple, or a
Yes,
couple
exactly.
things. Um, but yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out, see who wins, who walks away with some statue. And the Emmys will air on Sunday, September 14th on CBS, and then as well as on Paramount Plus for, I guess, select subscription plans. All right, moving on to the next topic. We have the trailer for Avatar Fire and Ash has been released. So initially, it was playing before Fantastic Four First Steps, so it was only in theaters, but it has since been released online. People have been sharing their reactions to it. I don't know if you watched it.
I did, yes.
Okay,
I did.
I liked the trailer
because we were in the same theater and did not know it.
Oh yes,
to see it.
Yes. So quick
there.
little
I came
story.
out of the movies and ran right into Ashley, and we were in the same screening. So.
Yes, that's so funny. Yes, quick little. Yeah, it was like because I had seen Fantastic Four already because I went to the early screening because I, do my reviews and stuff, and then I wanted to see it again, just because I enjoyed it a lot. So I went to see it again. Plus, I also wanted to see the Avatar Fire and Ash trailer just in case, I needed to talk about it or do something about it. Before it was released online. And then, as I was coming out of the theater, it was like, oh, there's Jet. And then we realized, like, what are you here to see? And he's like, Fantastic Four. I was like, oh, yeah, I just saw Fantastic Four. It's like, oh, which theater? I was like, we were in the same theater. How did that
no
happen?
idea, yes.
But anyway, so yes, okay, so you saw it. So what did you think of the trailer?
So it's an Avatar. It looks
long
pretty.
Pause.
It looks pretty.
Yes.
There's nothing. Will I see it? Probably. Am I excited about it? Like the last
You're
one.
You're one of those.
I'm one of those. I love the first one. The first one is beautiful. I think it's got, I've revisited it several times. I've seen the second one once and could not tell you all that much about it, and nor do I feel the need to go back and watch it again. I mean, maybe I'll watch it before the third one comes out. So, but this didn't do anything that made me go, can't wait to see this. It was just kind of like, okay, cool. Now we're doing this. Yeah. And my wife turned to me and was like, oh, they're doing another one of these? And I'm like, oh yes, this has been in the pipeline for a long time.
You should tell her there are 5.
Yeah, right.
There are gonna be 5. So prepare yourself.
What about you? What did you think of it?
I liked it. I thought the footage looked amazing. Especially on the big screen, because I then rewatched the trailer when it was released online, like on my TV, and it's just not the same.
Yeah.
I like the Avatar movies. I wouldn't say I love them. It's funny. The first one, I really liked the visuals of it, but I thought the story was kind of meh.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a really generic story. I felt like the second one was a little bit better in terms of the story, just because it had better world building, like to pull off from the first movie and expanded the world of Pandora and everything. I am really curious about this one because it seems like the tone is shifting a little darker, which I'm kind of intrigued by, because I felt like, especially like the first movie, it was pretty, I'm not gonna say boring, but it was pretty bland in terms of that. Like it wasn't very exciting or anything. The villain is kind of, again, generic. This one seems like it's gonna get a little bit darker. So I am intrigued by that. I will be seeing it, obviously. I'm gonna see it so I can at least review it for the channel.
The thing that somebody pointed out that I'm like, that's a really good point, is like, if you look at the top grossing movies of all time, Avatar, the first Avatar is number 1. Avatar 2 is number 3 behind Endgame. They've collectively made like over $5 billion, but you never hear people talk about it. There's not people quoting it. I don't see people with like merch or like, it's just such a weird thing that it does get people to the theater, but how does it resonate in pop culture?
Well, yeah. So, yeah, that is kind of interesting. I think part of it is this kind of goes back to like the first movie. I remember when that movie came out, and I actually saw like it wasn't an early screening of it, but it was like the first, it was like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of
Mm,
footage they showed in the theaters, and you had to like sign up for this
yeah.
thing. And I did because I was in college or whatever. And I signed up and I went to the theater and saw it, and I was just like, again, blown away by the visuals. And I remember after Avatar came out, there was this whole thing. Do you remember this when everyone was talking about like how people were like
They wanted to be in
depressed
that
that they
world.
couldn't? Yeah, they wanted, yeah, because it was so beautiful and like serene, and they just wanted to stay there.
Yeah.
And it was this whole thing. And I wonder if that's what it is. It's like
Maybe.
it's just people have seen the first one. The story is not necessarily something that, again, like you said, that they're going to quote, that they're going to remember, that it's going to influence other things that they do, but they like that world. And
Hmm.
so, okay, another Avatar movie's come out. Let's go to the theater. We sit there. I saw something similar with Way of Water. People are like, oh, the water scenes were so beautiful, and like, oh, if you imagine you were there in the ocean, and it's like, okay, maybe it's just that's what it is. People
Yeah.
go to see these movies to just take in the visuals. And I think, anytime you hear people talk about the Avatar movies, what's the one thing that people always mention? It's the visuals. Like
Yeah.
that's usually the first thing they'll say, or the thing that they love the most about those movies, is the visuals. And I wonder if that's what it is. And that can translate globally, right? And I think that's
Right.
the thing. You
Oh,
look at the
sure.
box office breakdown of those movies. It's not like it's making billions of dollars in just the United States. It's
Right. Yes.
globally,
Hmm.
and people can sit in a theater and just be transported to this world, and it looks great visually. And oh yeah, by the way, there's a story.
Yeah.
but I think maybe that's part of it. um so that's why I'm curious about how this one is going to play out, like Fire and Ash, because now you have like a whole fire tribe, and
You're
it's going
right.
to look darker. It's not going to be that, I assume, that bright blue kind of visual, scheme that they've had the first time. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how that plays to audiences. But I did see some initial reactions, which I told you before we started recording. Was some people were like, "Who asked for this? Like, why are we still getting these?" I'm like, "Well, we're getting 5 of them that has already been announced." And they keep making billions of dollars. So until they stop making billions of dollars, we're probably
Right.
still going to
Yes.
get these movies.
I mean,
Because I think
I
even was it?
no, I like it. I mean, I
Oh, go
like
ahead.
this series. I mean, I want to see where it goes for sure. It's
Hmm.
just so, like I said, it's just so weird because it's one of those that it's not like anyone's like, hey, let me show you my Avatar tattoo, or let's put on Avatar and just chill out. Like, I don't know. It's just so odd.
Yeah.
But maybe you're right. Maybe
I mean,
it's
people
just
do
such
get
the
Avatar merchandise at Disney World.
well, yes, but you
And
could
they
also
buy the
get
little.
Atlantis, the Lost Empire merchandise when that movie was out, and that doesn't mean anything. So,
Well, true, but I mean, they have a whole themed land to Avatar
yes, right,
with rides. So
right.
I think that's a little different. And people love those rides. It's like the most popular rides at
Again,
Animal Kingdom.
very pretty um, rides and everything. I mean, like they've got the technology down to kind of match the visuals and everything as well.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
just
it's
think at
just
this point, it's like we have to stop doubting James Cameron.
yeah, right,
because because here's the thing. It's one of those things where I remember the first Avatar movie came out, people were like, what is this? And then it came out and made $1 billion. People were like, oh. And then I remember when Disney announced that they were going to build an Avatar themed land, and people were like, why? And they were like, well, because this thing
it
made $1 billion.
made a
And
lot of
people were like,
money.
but
Yes,
why? Who's gonna want to visit an Avatar land? And then it opened, and still to this day, it is one of the most popular areas at Animal Kingdom, one of the most popular areas of Disney World.
hmm
Um, and it has one of my favorite restaurants there. I love the food over there. So hell, and then the second movie it was coming out, and people were like, "Oh, we're getting a sequel. Who's gonna see that? Who wants that?" And then it made
a lot of people.
$2 billion. So $2 billion. So like, I don't know. I just think at this point, until we have an Avatar movie stumble, we should just accept that this is happening. It's probably going to make a lot of money. And why are we still questioning James Cameron? Because
there were probably
tapped into
people
something that we don't clearly understand. Because I mean, I wish I had that issue where I was making billions of dollars off of something, and people were just like, "Who cares?" And it's like, well, somebody does, because they're making a lot of money.
I'm sure people said the same thing. Like, who's asking for a Terminator 2? Because it was several years after the first one, and and then look at that movie. That movie is a classic. And same thing with Aliens.
People like that one more than the first one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. So yeah, he knows what he's doing. I mean, I didn't think a Titanic movie would be as big as it was either.
That's another exactly. And that's another one too, where people, I think sometimes now will go, Titanic isn't even that great of a movie, and then they re-released it in theaters and it did pretty well.
Yes, right.
For like the anniversary, and you're like, what is this? I think that's just the fun thing to do, is just to like question James Cameron and question Avatar and just be like, ugh. But again, it's just he has a proven track record. So what do I know? What do any of us know? Speaking of box office, moving on to our last topic, which is Fantastic Four and Superman at the box office. So these are our two big superhero movies of the summer. And so far, they're doing pretty well at the box office. Fantastic Four just came out this past weekend, and Superman came out two weeks ago, I think, at this point.
The 11th, I believe.
Yes. And what's interesting about this, and the reason I wanted to like talk about this, is just how similar their box office runs have been so far. So like, Superman came out, and its opening weekend domestic haul was $125 million, and Fantastic Four, its domestic opening weekend haul wasn't too far behind at 117 million. But then when you get to like how they did in terms of like Rotten Tomatoes scores and audience scores, like just almost neck and neck, like very, very similar. And it's like, it's interesting because, we were talking earlier in some previous episodes about, the summer box office, how we thought some of these movies were going to do, especially when it came to the superhero movies. We're like, is there going to be superhero fatigue? Are we going to still see that stuff? And like, literally, these two movies are doing, I mean, they're not at the end of their run yet, but so far they're doing reasonably well right out the gate, And again, similar in how they're doing. So, what are the odds of that?
The interesting thing will be, from what I've been told, is Superman doesn't do as well on the global scale as other superhero movies. So it'll be interesting to see if Fantastic Four does a little better in those other markets. I'm looking at the Superman totals right now, and it's pretty even between the domestic and the international, but it's grossed $500 million.
Yes,
so far.
Yeah, it did cross the 500 million.
That's crazy, which is great. I mean, it's encouraging for the new DCU for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely for sure. Yeah, I did hear that, where like Superman doesn't tend to do that well internationally. Fantastic Four, I think, is doing pretty well internationally, and it might fare well just because it does have that space theme element. Space technology tends to translate well internationally. I don't know if the 60s aesthetic might hold it back, but it does have like the space thing going for it. So
it's got that Pedro Pascal. Everybody loves him, so
it does have Pedro Pascal, he's everywhere. I mean, he's literally everywhere.
Yes.
He's like Last of Us. He's in Materialist. He's in this movie. There's something else he's
Eddington.
probably in that I'm forgetting. Eddington, which I
Yeah. And then I think he's got I saw a poster for
Eddington.
another thing I think that he's coming out in the next couple months. Um I
Oh,
don't remember what it is, but I'm like, this guy
but
needs
you
to
know what's
calm down.
interesting? Well, I almost would say, he would be setting himself up for like overexposure, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't seem to be hurting him right now. I mean, he's kind of everywhere, but it's like people want him. Like, some actors, like, they're in every project and then audiences start to go like, just
Yeah.
please stop. I don't
It's
want to
too
see any
much.
more of
Yeah.
you. I haven't seen that yet with Pedro Pascal. I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, it's been interesting to see like the parallels between Fantastic Four and Superman. I liked both of those movies, and I thought um, it's interesting that both of them are superhero movies that lean more into that like hopefulness,
Mm-hmm.
optimism. They're not dark like some previous movies had gotten, especially like on the DCU side, um, and they both, like, story wise, kind of skip the origin story. So like they're
Yes.
like introducing like a new Fantastic Four is introducing a new phase of the MCU. Superheroes introducing a whole new like DC universe, and they both like skip the origin stories. Just kind of be like a brief backstory of these characters, and then they just go forward. So I thought that
Dump
was
you
interesting
in,
too.
which I liked because
Yeah.
I mean we've had several movies for each franchise at this point, and we don't need to rehash how they got their powers. Especially with Superman. Superman is so well known that if you don't know that, what are you doing
Hmm.
with your life? But
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do think. I mean, I saw this interesting conversation online where people were like, "You have to have an origin story for these superheroes, even if you don't know, uh, like, who these are, because you have to like establish them." And I was like, I think people are conflating origin story with backstory. Like,
yes.
a lot of these movies we've had previously are origin stories where you go back to the very beginning and the whole movie is setting up like how they got their powers and how they become a superhero. And in this regard, like, yes, this is a new Superman, this is a new Fantastic Four. Um, I don't need an origin story in the sense, like, I don't need to go back to the very beginning and see like how this character got bitten by like a spider, or like how they got you know hit with cosmic rays, and that be the entire focus of the movie. But you do have to give a backstory,
Mm-hmm.
because there are people who may be younger who don't know Superman. Like, they just didn't grow up with Superman, they don't know Superman. So you still have to like establish something about this character. But again, you don't have to do like an origin story, which is why I was
Yeah.
fine with them doing just like a brief backstory, about some of these characters, where you're like, all right, we're just going to tell you a little bit about this, we're going to show you a little about this, you can piece things together, which I think speaks volumes to like understanding that the audience is smart enough to get it. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to hold their hand and explain everything to them. And I'm fine with that. If we going forward, if we have more of that, I'm okay with that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway,
I
I
would.
enjoyed both of those movies, and
Now here's a
it's good to see them
question
doing well.
for you. If somebody
Okay.
was like, I only have time to see one of these movies, which one do you send them
Oh
to?
gosh. Oh goodness. Well, oh gosh. I mean, personally, if you're asking me which one I liked better, I did like the Fantastic Four better, but I'm a little biased because I really love the Fantastic Four, and I've
Okay.
been very
Mm-hmm.
sad that their previous movies haven't really been that great, especially like the last
Yeah.
attempt was just dreck. Um, but I like Superman too. And I think they're both good. But personally, I liked Fantastic Four just a little bit more than Superman. So I would probably tell them that one. But that would just be, again, based on my own personal preference. It would really depend on what they want. Because I mean, even though they're both superhero movies, they do offer something slightly different.
Sure.
Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? What about for you?
I
Would it be
think the
Superman?
same. I I had a few
Oh,
more
okay.
problems with
I'm shocked.
No, I had a few more problems with Superman. Like, um, just really, really quickly, it was a good movie. I had a great time in it, but I don't know that I will ever go back and watch it again.
Oh.
Just because, like, it was fine. It wasn't
Mhm.
anything revolutionary. I was actually a little disappointed in Nicholas Hoult as Lex
Interesting.
Luthor in it,
Mhm.
which I'm normally like I thought he was a good pick going into it,
Mhm.
but I liked Fantastic Four. Felt a little more, I don't know, like solid or connected or
Fully
something. Like,
realized.
yes, um, than I thought it would be, or like even more so than Superman. And I'm like you. I
Mhm.
mean, overall, I like the characters in the Fantastic Four a lot. I'm really curious
Mm.
that at the end of the movie, they
No
they
spoilers.
say they of Fantastic Four. This is just on the screen that they will return in Avengers Doomsday, which I'm like,
Oh,
they're
okay.
not going to put them in something else in between now and then. I mean, there's not that many movies coming out, but even I feel like we
I
have a
mean,
long way to go to get them into this like same world
isn't
as,
isn't Doomsday coming out next year?
yeah. Yes, but like at the end of the year, which means, because I don't want to spoil things, but this movie did not go as far as I thought it was going to get them into um with everybody else, I guess. So I'm curious as how that's going to play out. And it may just be as simple as, hey, Fantastic Four was
Well, I mean,
with Doomsday and they went
I
into this portal and now they're in our universe or whatever.
well, we have the end credit scene for Fantastic Four that kind of alludes to something,
Yes.
and then you also have the end credit scene for Thunderbolts that kind of alludes to something.
However,
So I
however,
right.
two things about that. We don't get to
So
that point in the point of Thunderbolts. And Kevin Feige has said that that is not necessarily the Fantastic Four. It's just the Fantastic Four rocket.
yeah, I was trying to avoid spoilers, but yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I was trying to avoid spoilers, but yes,
I mean, Thunderbolts,
yes, I
you
know
probably
that.
have seen
But
by now. If
again,
not,
we're
sorry.
still in unless they change something, we're still in like the multiverse thing. So I feel like there's a way that they're going to bring them in that we don't know yet, but I don't think it would be such a huge leap when they do, because they've done what they haven't done with some other characters, and they gave them their own movie,
Yes.
whereas some other characters have just appeared in other movies before getting their own individual movies. So I think they went back and did the correct kind of way of doing that.
I just thought, because we have another Spider-Man coming out, and there's, if you're a comic book fan, the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man team up a lot. So I was like, what? That would be
Yes,
cool to like
but
toss them in there.
this Spider-Man is still technically Sony's property. They
Yeah.
loaned Spider-Man to the MCU, so I don't know what the MCU Marvel can do. I don't think they can. I don't think they can have the Fantastic Four team up in a Spider-Man movie, but they can certainly have Spider-Man team up with the Fantastic Four in
In
a
a Fantastic Four
Marvel
movie.
movie,
Yes, yeah.
or Doomsday or Avengers movie, like he did with other things. So yeah, it gets complicated with that.
It does,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure they can't do that. So yeah, so I think I'm not too worried about that. I think it's fine. Again, they had their own movie, which makes it easier, because I think if they had just shown up in Doomsday, it'd be like,
Yeah.
who are these people? I mean, obviously they're the Fantastic Four, but you'd be like, what is this? What's going on
I
here?
mean,
At least they had
although
their
they
own
kind of
movie,
did that in
established
Multiverse
them.
of Madness, because there's a Reed Richards in that universe.
Yeah, but again, that's the multiverse, and that was specific cameo stuff. That wasn't like established, and he's not the same Reed
Right.
Richards that we get
Yes.
in the Fantastic Four. So again, I'm fine with that. That was not like we're establishing these characters going forward. This is like we're playing around with the multiverse. All right, so really quickly, just going to mention what's new in theaters this weekend. It's The Naked Gun, starring Liam Neeson. I've seen the movie. My review is up on the channel right now. So if you're at all interested in my thoughts on the movie, check out the review. I thought it was hilarious, very funny, laugh out loud. Haven't laughed that much in a movie in a really long time. I'm not just saying
good.
that. I mean, I comedy. I'm really harsh when it comes to comedy because sometimes I just don't find things funny, and people who find things funny, I'm like, I don't get it. But this one, yeah, it made me laugh. It's silly and stupid and ridiculous. And if you've seen any of the original Naked Gun movies, it feels very similar to that in terms of the tone and everything. But very modern in the references, pop culture references and things that they make. So definitely check it out. All right, moving on to the very last topic. One cool thing. This is where we share a cool thing that we've learned, seen, done in the past week or two. So Jed, kick us off. What is your one cool thing?
Well, after I trashed it a little bit, I'm going to go with Superman again for one super reason.
Oh gosh.
Superman led to...
For puns?
Yes, for puns. Superman led to a 500% surge in dog adoptions because of Crypto.
Aww.
And so if you haven't seen the movie... Crypto is a CGI dog that's actually based on James Gunn's actual dog. And people were like, hey, that dog seemed pretty cool. I want to go get one too, or I'm going to look into it. So I thought that was a really cool thing that I wouldn't have seen coming out of this movie. Like, I liked Crypto a lot too, but it wasn't like I was like, oh, I need to go out and get a Crypto as well. But I'm glad that some people do, because what a cool little... I don't know, side effect of a big blockbuster movie like that. So
yeah, hopefully people keep the dogs and take care of them, and don't return them to the shelters. But yes, that is really cool, because obviously pets need good homes, and it's always so sad to see like dogs and cats and stuff in cages at shelters. It's just like, ugh.
There's a line in Superman. Again, I'm not spoiling. I'm just going to say this, but I think it sums up Superman really well. And he's talking about how he's going to do something basically to try to get the dog back. And Lois is like, well, why? And he's like, because he's not a great dog, but essentially like he's there and he's probably lonely and scared.
He's alone. And
it's just like, get you in the feels kind of thing in there too, because people are connected to their pets. So
yes. And pets have emotions. Well, very cool. Mine's not as cool as that, but it is a movie. So my one cool thing is K-pop Demon Hunters.
I've seen it.
Okay. Well, good. So it came out in June, and I saw it on Netflix. Like, when you pull up Netflix, it's like in there, and I'm like, I don't have any interest in that. I don't listen to K-pop music. I wasn't really interested in watching a K-pop movie. The animation looked kind of cool, but I was like, not really my thing. And then weeks after, more and more people kept talking about this movie, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so good. And I'm like, is it? Okay. Like, I don't like to just write something off without giving it a chance. So This past weekend, I sat down and I watched it, and it's very entertaining. Very entertaining. Just, like the story's kind of silly, but it's fun. It's just this K-pop, this female K-pop group defends the world against demons through their music, and also like they fight them, and the demons decide to counter this K-pop group with their own K-pop group, like a male K-pop group,
a heartthrob group,
a heartthrob group. and the animation is really cool because it's the same. It's Sony Animation. It's a Netflix movie, but it's Sony Animation. And the same company that did some of the animation for the Spider-Verse movies did this one, so that's why it's got a similar kind of look.
Very similar style, yeah.
Yeah, and the music is really catchy, like incredibly catchy. So I mean, if you're looking for something, it's not even a long movie. I think it's like 90 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
You're looking for something like enjoyable, some catchy music, fun little story. You don't have to think too much about it. I'd recommend K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix.
Who would have thought
So
you would have ever heard
surprised
Ashley
myself.
say that?
Surprised myself because I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this movie, and after I was like, that was thoroughly entertaining.
Yes, I enjoyed that. Is it the greatest movie ever? No. Is it enjoyable?
No.
Yes, it is. Yeah, surprisingly.
Yes. So, yeah, surprisingly. So, anyway. All right. So, that wraps up this week's episode of The Recap. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you jump into the comments and share your thoughts about any of the topics that we talked about. Your thoughts on Superman, Fantastic Four, Coyote versus Acme, the Emmy nominations, anything. Jump into the comments. Join in the conversation. And also make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way you can keep up with everything I'm posting, including all of the movie reviews, as well as more episodes of The Recap. So thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.